Hello everyone, thank you for coming to this press conference. It's June the 25th. This is a very important breaking press statement from the International Tribunal for the Disappeared of Canada. Mass graves of Indigenous women and children have been discovered in British Columbia, and United Nations has been asked to send peacekeepers and forensic specialists to this region, as Prime Minister Trudeau and others are summoned to appear before a war crimes tribunal on September 16th. Investigators on Canada's west coast have uncovered the suspected mass graves of Indigenous women and children at 3 separate locations. This announcement came today after months of independent investigations conducted by the International Tribunal for the Disappeared of Canada that has relied on police, media, and Aboriginal sources on the ground. According to the report of the tribunal investigators, quote, "The grave sites are found on the coast and in the interior. According to sources and our initial surveys, these sites contain the remains of many hundreds, perhaps thousands of Aboriginal people, including many women and children. One of these sites contains very recent burials laid atop an older mass grave of Indian residential school children. These sites have been known to local Aboriginals, but the locals have been threatened and silenced by the RCMP and by tribal council officials. Local residents claim that RCMP officers and private hit squads are responsible for the killings and the burials. One witness observed an RCMP tactical unit burying bodies as recently as late March of 2019, unquote. Now, in response to this important discovery, at 10 a.m. today, Eastern Time, June 25th, a formal request was issued to the United Nations Security Council and the UN peacekeepers by our tribunal. That request asked that UN peacekeepers and forensic specialists be dispatched immediately to British Columbia and to this region where the mass graves were discovered to assist this investigation and to be present at the International Tribunal investigation into genocide that is convening in Vancouver on September the 16th. Prime Minister Trudeau and 20 other high officials of church, state, and business have been publicly summoned to appear before this tribunal to answer charges of complicity in genocide. And copies of that indictment and summons can be found at murderbydecree.com under ITCCS updates. The September 16th tribunal was prompted by Prime Minister Trudeau's public admission on June the 3rd that genocide has occurred within Canada, and also prompted by the corollary obligation imposed on UN member states by the United Nations Convention on Genocide to prosecute and punish that crime. Now, in a statement from the Tribunal Field Secretary in British Columbia, Kevin Annett, quote, "Our request for UN peacekeepers and forensic specialists is not made lightly, especially now in the light of the discovery of these mass graves. These graves need to be disinterred, the remains examined and analyzed, and charges brought against those responsible, as in any crime scene investigation. But this is a dangerous effort. 7 of our Aboriginal eyewitnesses and activists have died of foul play in the course of our investigations of the disappearance of Aboriginal families on Canada's west coast. As Human Rights Watch has documented and shown, the RCMP are directly implicated in this assault and murder and disappearance of Aboriginal people. Our naming of top Canadian officials as possible co-conspirators in an ongoing genocide makes this danger all the more real," unquote. Now, further evidence of the recently discovered mass graves will be revealed at a special press conference to be held in Canada's capital of Ottawa at Parliament Hill on Monday, July the 8th at 10 a.m. Our tribunal has asked that the UN peacekeepers be present at that Parliament Hill event to protect its public spokespeople, including Field Secretary Kevin Annett. For Annett has recently faced illegal arrest and detention and other harassment at the hands of the RCMP and the Canadian Border Services Agency. The tribunal considers these attacks as further attempts by Canada to obstruct justice and an international human rights investigation into the crimes of the government and the churches and corporations of Canada. Now, for more information, follow the updates at murderbydecree.com under ITCCS updates, and contact the tribunal at disappearedofcanada@gmail.com. Also follow our updates on our weekly radio program, Here We Stand. That's every Sunday at 6 p.m. at bbsradio.com/herewestand. This is an announcement from the International Tribunal for the Disappeared of Canada. It's June the 25th, 2019. Thank you.